Alright, what is up YouTube, M40 here. So we're going to be doing a little breakdown on Jim Crocodile Cook's deck since we have voting up right now for the Collector's Pack. I wanted to go through and look at every single good, viable card that we have kind of coming out of Mr. Jim Crocodile Cook's deck. So if you guys don't know, Mr. Jim Crocodile, he's actually played Paleozoic Dragon, Mesozoic Dragon, Cenozoic Dragon, Fossil Hunter, Magnet Warriors. Of course, Magnet Warriors being a little bit more of an interesting choice. Let's kind of dig on into his card pool here. So the first one is Flint Cragger. So of course his whole deck revolves around the fossil mechanic. And do bear in mind that when we get these, they will probably be buffed a little bit. So Flint Cragger, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard to inflict 500 damage to your opponent. And it doesn't have known it's 800, 1600. So I'm really hoping with whatever they actually do for this that we buff it a little bit, because that's not strong at all, especially for those stats. Come on. Then we have the anime version of Fossil Pachycephalo, and I'm assuming that they might remake this on a new card or something like that, but if this card destroys its opponent's monster by battle, it goes to defense mode. And then it gains defense equal to the defense of the destroyed monster until the end phase of your opponent's next turn. This is also pretty bad. Quite honestly, the new Fossil Pachycephalo, the one from Light of Destruction, is infinitely better than this pile of garbage. But I assume that they could remake and just slightly change the name or something like that. Or, you know, we'll just have synergy with the old Fossil Dyna. You never know. Now, of course, his deck also revolved around Gaia Plague's rocks, and of course it was a boss monster for the deck. Anime version, remove from play 2 rock monsters. Standby phase, remove 1 rock monster from graveyard, or send this card to the graveyard, and have the attack and defense of any monster that's battles. So, we don't really care about that. Alright, so Sample Fossil. When this card is normal summoned, you can select 1 level 4 or lower normal monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field. It cannot attack or be tributed. This card gains attack equal to that monster, or half that monster's original attack. So, excuse me, equal to that monster's original attack. So, the sad thing is this is an interaction with a normal monster. They very well could just give you the ability to monster reborn something out of your opponent's graveyard. But once again, when we start getting into the fusions and things here, you'll definitely kind of start to see more of the interactions and things like that for this. So, or maybe you'll interact with tokens. I don't know. There's a couple ways they could do it. Then we got Shell Knight. This card is summoned, actually. Ping your opponent for 500. Not a real big fan of that. And then we got Uluru's Guardian. So, this is 0-2300. By the way, it's level 4. So, if this card is targeted by an opponent's card effect, you can send 1 face-up trap card controlled to the graveyard to negate that effect until this card, or that card's effect to the end phase. So, I really want stats on this thing, but alright. We'll probably get this buffed a little bit. Alright, and then we got Weathering Soldier. Decrease the attack of this card by 600 points during each of your end phases. It's 2,000, by the way, so you get 1 turn of a fatty, but alright. Alright, so those are the bad monsters. Alright, that's the really bad stuff. Now we can start talking about the thing that makes this deck really cool, and it is the fusion monsters. This is why we want this archetype. So, this is 1 rock monster in your graveyard plus 1 level 4 lower dinosaur type monster in your opponent's graveyard. And then the only summon effect on this is cannot be special summoned except by fossil fusion. This thing stands at 2,500 with 0 defense. But like, look how cool this looks. So, right out of the floodgate, really easy summoning conditions. As you will see, Fossil Fusion does allow for the fusion from the graveyard. So, okay, so we have 1 level 4 lower dinosaur type monster. Okay. And then we have 1 rock monster in your graveyard plus 1 level 8 or higher dinosaur monster in your opponent's graveyard. So, cool news here is I can make this when I out my opponent's ultimate conductor. So, this card cannot be special summoned except by Fossil Fusion. If this card attacks, you can switch the attack and defense of the target, the attack target, during the damage step only. If this card attacks defense mode monster whose defense is lower than this card's attack, inflict the battle damage difference to your opponent. By the way, 3,500 for this. But if we're making this archetype, we're going to have to buff the summoning conditions, because One level 8 or higher dinosaur monster? Like, eh. Then we have one fossil machine buggy. Now, we just know that it's a rock fusion, and we don't know anything about this thing. They definitely are pretty much open to this, but I'm pretty much assuming that this is going to be a fusion between a machine monster and a fossil, judging by the way that this thing looks. Speaking of machines, so fossil machine skull convoy. This is what happens when we this is what happens when things go too far. So it's one rock type monster in your graveyard and one level 7 or higher machine monster in your opponent's graveyard. So this card cannot be special summoned except by fusion or fossil fusion. When your opponent controls a monster, this card can attack up to 3 times during each battle phase. When this card destroys the opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. By the way, 2,100. Not an impressive stat, to say the least, but summoning conditions, pretty alright. Then we have this thing. So this is Fossil Machine Skull Wagon. So since this one is level 5 or 6, and then we also have the other one that we don't know, it has to be like level 4 or lower for that one. So Skull Wagon here, it's just one rock type plus level 5 or 6 in the opponent's graveyard. And then this card cannot be special summoned except with Fossil Fusion. That's all this thing does. And they got a lot of room for work here. And then Fossil Warrior Skullbone. Oh, cool, we have art for it. That's actually awesome. Alright, cool. So it's one rock type monster in your graveyard and one level 4 lower warrior monster in your opponent's graveyard. We don't know the effect, but it's 2,800. Man, they've got so much room to work with us. Oh, cool. Skull King. How do you look? Alright, cool. So it's one rock monster plus in your graveyard, plus one level 7 or higher warrior monster in your opponent's graveyard. You have special summon with Fossil Fusion. If this card attacks and your opponent controls a monster at the end damage step, can attack once again in a row. Right, it's pretty basic. And then you also get Trample. Alright, well, for a 2,800 body, that's pretty alright, I guess. Then we got Skull Knight. Cool, so this is for our 5 or 6 combination. So, yep, 5 or 6 plus rock by Fossil Fusion. This card attacks, your opponent controls a monster at the end damage step. This card can attack once again. Why is everything in this deck just multi-attack? Alright, cool. So we're out of the fusions now. Alright, onwards to the actual spell and trap support here. So, Drowsing Burn, remove from play one monster card in your opponent's graveyard. Destroy one monster of the same type and a lower level than the removed monster. Well, I don't think we're actually going to get that, because that doesn't really seem like... it like fits into the Archetype, but not really. Alright, so this is the thing that matters. Fossil Fusion. Remove from play fusion monsters are listed on a Fossil Fusion monster from your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard, and special summon that fusion monster from your fusion deck. This is considered a fusion summon. So, it's really interesting that this whole Archetype just feeds on both players' graveyard. If you run into a theme that you can't really interact with, well, I got bad news for you. Alright. Fossil Hammer. Destroy the monster with the highest level on your opponent controls. Your opponent selects one monster from their graveyard with a lower level than the destroyed monster, so summons an attack position. Well, this is how you get your fusion targets into the graveyard. Half-Life, activate only if a monster be destroyed by battle, half its original attack instead. I don't think we're going to get that. Miracle Rupture, activate by sending one rock monster from your deck to the graveyard. Shuffle your deck and then draw one card. Rocks have a draw card? Alright. I like this is pretty good, actually. Alright, we could get somewhere here, honestly, with this. Sacred Defense Barrier. Each time a rock monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, place one protection counter on a monster. The monster protection counters will be destroyed. Remove one protection counter from it instead. Not a super big fan of this, but that's alright. Specimen Inspection. Send one monster from your hand to the graveyard to declare one type and level. Your opponent must send one monster to declare type or level from their hand or deck to the graveyard. If this interacts with the extra deck on an upgraded card text, this could be good. Then we got Time Stream. Pay half your life points. Target one Cenozoic or Mesozoic fusion monster you control. That use the type of your opponent of your monster and the targeted monster from your opponent's graveyard for its fusion material. Return that monster to the fusion deck and special summon one fusion monster with the same name as that target, ignoring summoning conditions. You select and special summon a Meliazoic if you target a Cenozoic, or a Paleozoic if you target a Meliazoic. Oh god, this is interesting. Alright, so basically it's an upgrade. Interesting, alright. Then we have the last thing here is Uluru the Guardian Spirit. Activate only if you control Uluru's Guardian is in your graveyard. After activation, special summon this card in defense mode. It's treated as a normal monster with 0/2500 defense. And all attack position monsters must attack this card during the turn's battle phase, if able. And then during the end phase, destroy this card. So I just want to point out here that this archetype for the whole fossil mechanic, I love it. I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think, though. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about all of this new interesting stuff that we could potentially be getting upgrades on. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never truly ends. Thank you, patrons, for helping support the channel. Without you guys, I don't know if I'd still be doing this. And for those of you that like Cardfight Vanguard, FanCool40 is here for all your content needs. And those of you asking if I sell cards, mcoolgames.com for all your trading card game needs. Check the description for more interesting info. Thanks for watching, guys.